Well, I tell you, folks, I definitely did not call this one, but evidently the Late Show has outlasted the United States federal government. We're still open, and they done shut down. But you know what? Maybe this is a good thing. You know, the government hasn't been working that great lately.
Yeah, I know it was a comedian, blah 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 blah, but that wasn't a stand-up comedy show. It was supposed to be a
political rally.
Something. Yeah. At the first time I didn't know there was a comedian because he was on Sudo. I was, he's a
right.
Político, cabrón. Como que
you didn't think it was funny?
No.
Every circus needs a ringmaster, and every ringmaster needs an ego large enough to eclipse the sun. That's where Donald Trump, the sitting president of the United States, steps into the spotlight like a man auditioning for the role of himself. Stephen Colbert and Bad Bunny didn't just take him down, they dismantled his illusion piece by piece, revealing that the loudest voice in the room usually hides the weakest argument. Under Trump, the presidency has become a stand-up act, only the jokes never quite land.
Donald Trump, of course, has tried every possible option to end the shutdown. He's blamed Democrats. Not only, but also, not only is Trump not trying to negotiate an end to the shutdown, he's now using it as a way to squash things.
That knows the t-shirt too.
Teacher. I'm so sorry. I want to apologize with you because I think this is not like you. This is more like Donald Trump.
You sound more like Donald Trump.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Trump's leadership has always felt like an infomercial that never ends, overflowing with promises, short on results, and looping every few minutes. Colbert doesn't need to exaggerate. Reality does it for him. Watching the president speak is like seeing a salesman try to market air. He delivers it with boundless energy, forgets his pitch halfway through, then applauds himself for inventing it. Bad Bunny provides the soundtrack, turning every pause into a beat drop that speaks louder than Trump's own words. Together, they create a bizarre duet, humor and rhythm clashing against arrogance and noise.
The hearted story to start our monologue tonight is that it looks like the federal government, which is entirely controlled by the Republican Party, is going to shut down in about 20 minutes. Anything? Let me know. Let me know if anything changes, okay? If so, it will cut a lot of important services and put a lot of people out of work, but not.
Trump's rallies feel less like political gatherings and more like marathon therapy sessions for his insecurities. Each time he takes the microphone, the mood shifts from leadership to performance art. Colbert sees it as late-night gold, a non-stop reel of contradictions and confusion that practically writes itself. He doesn't need to roast Trump. Trump does it himself every time he speaks. Bad Bunny transforms those contradictions into cultural chaos, highlighting how the most powerful man in the world can be utterly addicted to applause, yet completely allergic to accountability.
Touting his shutdown as an unprecedented opportunity to cut more Democratic priorities. Yes. Yeah. Oh. No, it's not a shutdown, it's a shut-opportunity. You know what they say? When God closes a food inspection program, he opens a listeria outbreak.
Colbert dissects Trump's logic like a scientist studying a newly discovered species of nonsense. Every sentence seems to defy gravity, logic, and grammar all at once. He's fascinated by how Trump can twist a policy discussion into a one-man monologue about how misunderstood he is. The audience laughs because it's ridiculous, but the absurdity comes with consequences. Beneath the humor lies a hard truth. Leadership built on vanity eventually shatters its own reflection. Bad Bunny amplifies that truth with beats so sharp they slice through the applause, revealing how entertainment has quietly replaced empathy in the Oval Office.
Nut day. Then it was time for the officers to hear from a true paragon of masculine fitness, Donald Trump. Fat generals, no. Fat generals, meet Captain Cankles. By the way, I don't know if you noticed how he was walking there, but that shamble up to the mic was about as high as his energy got for the whole day.
Trump governs like a man gazing into a funhouse mirror, convinced that every warped reflection is an upgrade. Colbert transforms that delusion into razor-sharp satire, wielding irony more effectively than any political critique. He portrays Trump as someone so addicted to attention that silence itself feels like punishment. Bad Bunny, ever the performer, turns that obsession into rhythm, beats rising and falling like Trump's approval ratings after each scandal. It's poetic justice in motion, where comedy and music join forces to turn ego into echo.
Now, this isn't the first government shutdown. This has happened many times before, even since we've been doing this show. There's a process that you follow. When a shutdown starts, people are what's called furloughed, okay? They don't come to work, they're not paid, but when the shutdown's over, everyone gets their job back, often with back pay. But now, Trump is threatening to use this excuse to fire a whole bunch more people from the federal government, posting, "Republicans must use this opportunity of Democrat forced closure to clear out deadwood."
When Colbert takes aim, he doesn't swing blindly. He cuts with precision. He knows Trump's power isn't in intelligence or leadership, but in making chaos look deliberate. So Colbert plays along, pretending to take the circus seriously until he reveals the clown is really the ringmaster. Bad Bunny adds the beat of rebellion, a cultural rhythm that laughs at political absurdity. Together, they stage an artful takedown, not burning with anger, but melting with irony. Every Trump press conference feels like an improv show with no script and no exit plan. Colbert treats each one like an unwanted sequel, amazed at how Trump boasts about the problems he created as if they were victories. Bad Bunny remixes that delusion into sound, turning the podium into a DJ booth where every failure drops to the beat of blind confidence. Their genius lies in exposing truth without preaching. Colbert frames Trump's contradictions like scenes from a never-ending reality show. His obsession with loyalty a running gag, his hunger for praise a tragic subplot. In the end, the joke isn't just on Trump, it's on a system that mistakes performance for power.
Political speeches, that's the tradition. They're supposed to be nonpartisan and sit there stone-faced. It's like doing stand-up for Easter Island heads. So Trump didn't love the crowd.
I've never walked into a room so silent before. You know what, just have a good time. And if you want to applaud, you applaud. And if you want to do anything you want, you can do anything you want. And if you don't like what I'm saying, you can leave the room.
Roger that.
Bad Bunny's role is to make it global, to show that this spectacle isn't confined to one nation. Trump's ego is exportable, his chaos universal, and his self-admiration a soundtrack of absurdity anyone can dance to. His speeches could pass for stand-up if they weren't so dark. Colbert turns that darkness into laughter, a coping mechanism for a world struggling to make sense of the senseless. He exposes how Trump's idea of strength always means blaming someone else, how every victory speech sounds like a complaint, and every promise is just a rerun of one that already failed. Bad Bunny transforms those patterns into rhythm, repetitive, catchy, and impossible to ignore, the sound of dysfunction disguised as leadership. Colbert understands the irony of modern politics. The louder the outrage, the emptier the agenda. Trump feeds on outrage like a moth to a flame, confusing noise for relevance. Colbert twists that irony into art, reminding us that chaos isn't a strategy, it's a symptom. Bad Bunny amplifies the message, proving that truth hits harder than propaganda when it moves to a beat.
Together, they deliver a devastating duet. Humor and rhythm dismantling delusion in real time. Trump's cabinet meetings? They play out like group projects where no one dares correct the kid who insists he's always right.
Because I felt it. I just said, I was angry at the time because I was here in New York.
Yeah.
So I was like, what? This guy is
Right around.
He's right there. We should go. And
We popping out.
But it was a very, ¿cómo te digo? Fue como que el momento, la molestia.
Colbert captures the dysfunction perfectly, likening it to a reality show where loyalty outshines logic. Every policy failure becomes a punchline, every controversy another episode in a saga of self-made chaos. Bad Bunny adds rhythm to the madness, the sound of a nation dancing on the edge of exhaustion, still laughing because the alternative is screaming. Colbert's brilliance lies in restraint. He doesn't shout, he smiles, letting Trump's contradictions collapse under their own weight. In that silence, the truth lands. This isn't leadership, it's theater. Bad Bunny mirrors that truth through sound, creating a beat that feels both rebellious and cleansing. Together, they prove that comedy and music can do what politics rarely dares: speak truth without fear. Trump's obsession with image holds his entire act together. Every move, every speech, every inflated claim feels like part of an endless audition. Colbert calls it performance art disguised as governance. Bad Bunny turns it into a remix of ego, each soundbite looping into delusion. The result is poetic. The harder Trump tries to control the story, the funnier it becomes. His image, once a symbol of power, now stands as a caricature of itself, overblown and unrecognizable.
Here he is talking about the nuclear.
We can't let people throw around that word. I call it the N-word. There are two N-words, and you can't use either of them.
Yep. No, that's right, folks. There's two N-words. One you can never use, and the other you can only use if you're doing karaoke.
Colbert's humor cuts deep because it's rooted in sharp observation. He sees Trump's constant rewriting of history as both tragic and comic, a man turning failures into victories, scandals into conspiracies, and criticism into proof of greatness. Colbert reframes it as absurd theater, while Bad Bunny transforms it into satire that speaks beyond language. They don't destroy Trump with anger, they dismantle him with laughter. If arrogance were renewable energy, Trump's self-importance could power a city. Colbert channels that excess, showing how Trump's version of leadership is a loop of self-congratulation interrupted only by confusion. Bad Bunny contrasts it with rhythm beats that rise where logic collapses, crafting harmony from contradiction. Together, they prove truth doesn't need to shout, it just needs rhythm and irony. Trump's policies often read like rough drafts of bad ideas written in permanent ink. Colbert's humor exposes the chaos of ruling by impulse, how every fix spawns a new problem, every promise hides an escape clause. Bad Bunny turns those blunders into musical metaphors. Failure becomes rhythm, and disorder becomes dance. Together, they show how power without direction becomes parody, and parody without awareness becomes Trumpism. Colbert's timing seals it all. He lets Trump boast, then steps back as reality delivers the punchline. Every contradiction becomes a callback, every exaggeration a setup for the next fall.
Keep in mind, my friends, Republicans control all three branches of government, including both chambers of Congress, but somehow, none of this is their fault.
The Democrats should know that they put the White House and the president in this position. And if they don't want further harm on their constituents back home, then they need to reopen the government. It's very simple. Pass the clean continuing resolution, and all of this goes away.
Wow, that is weirdly threatening. Can we see that from another angle?
Pass the clean continuing resolution, and
Bad Bunny mirrors the absurdity of politics through rhythm, syncing his beats to the spectacle of power as performance. The result is Satire in Motion, a comedy sketch, too real to be fiction. Trump's diplomacy plays like a reality TV alliance, loud, fragile, and doomed to collapse by the next episode. Colbert mocks its theatrical nature, every handshake staged, every statement scripted for applause. Bad Bunny punctuates it with a rhythm that feels like mock celebration, a beat that says what no one else will. Together, they expose how the spectacle of power has replaced the substance of governance. Colbert's genius lies in reclaiming the narrative. Trump may dominate headlines, but Colbert controls the meaning. He imagines a world where Trump's confidence becomes the punchline, and Bad Bunny turns that irony into an anthem, a rhythm of disbelief and laughter. In the end, they don't just dismantle Trump's story, they replace it with one sharper, funnier, and far closer to the truth.
You might not know these, but I'm doing the Super Bowl halftime show. And I'm very happy. I'm very happy, and I think everyone is happy about it. Even Fox News.
Bad Bunny is my favorite
musician,
and he should be the next president.
Trump's presidency is what happens when branding replaces governance. Every decision feels like a marketing stunt, every controversy a press release in disguise. Colbert exposes that emptiness with surgical wit, revealing how a man obsessed with image becomes trapped in his own reflection. Bad Bunny adds rhythm to the unraveling, the sound of illusion cracking under the weight of truth. Colbert knows humor is resistance. By laughing at the absurd, he takes away its power. Trump feeds on outrage. Laughter starves him. Bad Bunny supplies the beat of rebellion, turning satire into movement. Together, they don't just mock the man, they mock the machinery that sustains him, the spectacle that shields him, the noise that fuels him. Trump's obsession with ratings defines his leadership. If it looks successful, it must be. Colbert tears apart that logic, exposing how appearance has replaced achievement. Bad Bunny transforms that hollow pursuit into rhythm, beats echoing through empty promises. Together, they craft a portrait of a presidency addicted to applause but allergic to accountability. Their destruction isn't cruel, it's poetic.
Who knows why? Maybe somebody got the government wet, you know? Let's unplug it for a while, plug it back in, see if it reboots. If that doesn't work, maybe toss it in a bag of rice. Leave it there for a couple hours. Doesn't work, we'll just throw it away and buy a new one with a better camera and a functioning president. And
Colbert and Bad Bunny turn chaos into creativity, delusion into performance art. Trump's empire of exaggeration doesn't collapse in scandal, it falls to a punchline. The laughter that follows cuts deeper than criticism and lasts longer than outrage. In the end, Trump's greatest enemy isn't his critics or his controversies, it's the mirror that refuses to flatter him. By the time Colbert delivers his final satire and Bad Bunny drops his last beat, the illusion shatters completely. What once posed as authority now stands bare, loud, fragile, desperate for validation. The grandeur fades, exposing a show driven not by conviction, but by ego. The laughter that fills the room isn't cruel, it's freeing. It's the sound of people finally seeing the difference between power and pretense. As the stage dims and the noise fades, truth remains raw, rhythmic, and undeniable. Each joke becomes an echo of accountability. Each beat a reminder that arrogance can't survive authenticity. Colbert's sharp wit slices through the spectacle, while Bad Bunny's rhythm amplifies it, blending comedy and conscience into something unforgettable. Together, they turn mockery into meaning and laughter into revelation. When the lights go out, what remains isn't a leader destroyed by ridicule, but a myth undone by reality. Perfectly exposed.